Okay guys, it's that time once again. It's having a rant about Hermes time, yeah! Right, okay, so, turn that speaker off. So, I'm sure curry is terrible whatever country you're from, but in the UK we have this little company called Hermes, and it costs about 20p less to send small parcels with them than other services, and they're just an appalling company to give you service to. The customer service is almost impossible to get in touch with, although it's easier if you're the one receiving the parcel. And the drivers just throw shit about. Look at that. There's the dent in the box. Comes with every parcel. Like another advantage is not only do you save the 20p, but they put a little dent in the parcel for you, and that's free. There is literally footage of Hermes drivers throwing parcels at each other, throwing things into vans. A British comedian actually did a video where he discovered that Hermes, when they lose parcels, which happens all the time, they just auction off whatever was in them. Incredible, isn't it? They're literally the scene of Ace Ventura where he's just throwing the parcels around. That is literally Hermes, except in that instance he would work for a company that you can almost not get in touch with if something goes wrong. Good thing something always goes wrong, eh? So anyway, first of all, I had my doubts when this was when this popped up as with Hermes, and then it took about 3 days for the tracking, like for it to actually be dispatched. Hermes is quite often next day delivery, so that's poor form for them, even at the one thing they're good at. Then I get an email at 9:30 last night saying it's been delivered. Well, it hadn't been. No one in the house had received anything. No one in the house had heard the door go. There was no parcel outside the house, anywhere around the house. It wasn't in any of the wheelie bins or anything like that. And as you can see from it having just arrived now, it wasn't here. So I got in touch with them. I got in touch with Fig Pop Shop, who I bought this stuff from. And Fig Pop Shop told me that the driver had... Because Fig Pop Shop have an actual business link with Hermes. So they actually listen to people for that, apparently. So Fig Pop Shop told me that the driver had scanned the parcel by accident last night. Basically, loosely translating as he couldn't be asked or didn't have the time to deliver it and he wasn't going to meet his quota, so he just scanned it anyway. Great form. Can you imagine being that guy? I mean, no one likes to be at work and admit they're messed up, right? But can you imagine being the guy who has to say to someone else in the company, oh, that parcel, yeah, oh, I scanned that one by accident, I think, last night. Oh, and I was cleaning my van out. I had the scanner in one hand. I was putting the parcels. I scanned it. Oh, I don't know how I managed it. Yeah, what a fucking dick. And the worst part is, we trusted our Hermes driver. We'd never really had a problem with a parcel delivery. But it just goes to show you can't trust anyone in that company. And the worst part is, it was then scheduled for redelivery between 12 and 2, and this arrived at 3, so it was late. Dear me, should we actually get into what it is now? This is my Black Friday order from Fig Pop Shop. It is now the 2nd of December. Nice one. When was this order placed? The day after Black Friday, I think. We've got some Fig Pop Shop QR codes if you want to check those guys out. They're a very useful UK site, to be fair to them. And we've got some great deals out of them here. Just a shame about the circumstances. Don't use Hermes, guys. That's all I can really say. I'm sure that Fig Pop Shop must save loads from using Hermes. That makes it worthwhile when parcels like this need replacing, but not worth it for the customers. Not worth it. This is not a very important... This is not a very bad story compared to how most stories about Hermes go. Alright, anyway, first of all, we've got some Lucy's here, and these are interesting, aren't they? What's this? We've got little cardboard bits for them. These were bits just to make up the order, basically, because the shipping is like a flat rate $4.50, and I was like, that's not great, because I'm only ordering these figures because they're cheaper here, and now they're not really cheaper here with the $4.50 shipping, you know, like, what's wrong with £3? $4.50 shipping for Hermes? Whoa, hold on. That's not great. So I thought I'd order some more figures of stuff that I would eventually get anyway, you know, that'll make it more worth it. So first of all, we've got a basic here. Pure, literally pure, I'll want it later kind of thing, is, look at this, these are cool. It's £4 it was, Trish Stratus basic from the Championship Showdown pack with, who was it? Lita? China? Something like that. I just figured I'd want the head for swapping onto the new Elite at some stage. £4 is exactly the kind of price I'd like to pay for a head swap. At the end of the day, women's figures aren't great to pose with anyway, so at the end of the day, I could always just use this if I wanted to use Trish and just bypass the Elite altogether, or if I can't get the Elite or whatever. It's a nice enough figure, but basics is basics, and women figures are as posable as women figures, I guess. That's like even worse than a basic, but whatever. But we knew we'd want her at some stage, so we chucked her in. It was £4 for her, and then £4.50 for the delivery, so that's like, what, £1.12? So like £5.12, that's about what I'd want to pay for a new head, I think. The other basic I got, this is kind of like, it's kind of good, and it's kind of like me kicking myself in the balls. It's kind of a reminder that I didn't buy Big Boss Man when his Elite was £12, the Attitude Era one. This is the basic, again, Championship Showdown, Big Boss Man figure. Again, this was £4, which is exactly what I'd want to pay for a basic, especially one that I'm going to actually have to use. I mean, can you imagine animating a sidewalk slam with this guy? That's going to be terrible. Waist is a bit loose as well, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't buy Elite Boss Man when I got back into figures, and he was like £12 on Amazon. I figured my Classic Superstar will do, because this was before I decided that Jack's figures just aren't worth looking at, because the arms just fall out when you look at them. And, you know, I tried to do this little hardcore animation segment thing to prove myself wrong the other day, and I just proved myself right. I used this Paul Burchill figure, turns out he's got a loose arm. Whole thing was awful to pose with, but yeah. So this is kind of like, first of all, when I use this, when I animate with this, it's like beating myself up again for not buying the £12 Elite. This is boxed, by the way. This is a boxed £12 Elite that I passed up on. If you look at it, you get it for that loose now. So it's partly to beat myself up for that. Like, the restricted articulation is to beat myself up. Not that I don't beat myself up about it regularly, because you just should have bought it. He's an important person. But it's also because I needed something. I wanted something. I do have his blue Elite, but it doesn't really fit the character that I want for him. I can at least use this for non-wrestling stuff, which, you know, he's one of the, like, general manager characters, so, you know, he can just be walking around with this, and I don't need to be getting my Classic Superstar's arms any looser by using him, so that's nice. The one thing that really pisses me off about this figure is that they did this new head scan for him, and then they just like, made this the basic, and are they using this on the new Bossman figure, which is another blue shirt one? So we've had 3 blue shirt ones and 1 flak jacket one. And the blue shirt one, they announce it's a chase, and it's got black, and it's in black. No, it's just a black t-shirt. It's just WCW, and it's a gear I'd never even seen him wear. It's just a blue shirt, but it's a black shirt instead. Yeah, I want him in a swap vest. You can tell this is an issue. This is an issue I had, but I don't think I need to rant about that anymore. We got Bossman now. That waist is doing my head in. I can't wait to play with that. Where's this little packet? How was I to know when I first got back into figures that the secondary market was just going to disappear, and all of a sudden, as soon as a figure's been out for a week, it's sold out and you can't get it anywhere? I was just supposed to know. When I started collecting figures again, I could pick up loads of stuff on... Oh, this guy doesn't even want to go in. I could pick up loads of stuff on home... Oh, fuck. Look at it. Like, this bit comes out, and now it's... Waist's probably a bit looser now. When I started collecting figures again, you could buy stuff on eBay, and you could buy stuff in Home Bargains for £8, and you could get stuff on eBay for like nothing, and that's how I ended up with loads of stuff like Kamala and Terry Funk and the Dean Ambrose with the chair and the ladder and the camcorder and various other things. You know, loads of stuff on the NW Opening Series, Erwin R. Shyster, Psycho Sid, you know, all these figures, because they were just cheap. They cost nothing. They were everywhere. Like, the secondary market existed then. There was, like, people, and they were like, I have this figure, I need to sell this figure. It doesn't sell for very much. I'll put it on eBay. I might put it on bid, and then I'll buy it, and then someone will buy it on bid. You just never see stuff like that anymore. It's always like, oh, yeah, this figure came out 2 weeks ago, right? We can't get it in Smith's anymore, so it's 50 quid now. It's a scalper's market. It's a joke. And you know who I blame? Zack Ryder. I blame him. Because, I mean, it's just pretty coincidental, isn't it? That there was a secondary market, major pod starts going off, and suddenly there's no secondary market anymore. Coincidence? Someone knocked at the door. Okay, guys. We've been here for 11 minutes, unedited. I've ranted about Hermes, I've ranted about not buying a Big Boss Man Elite, and I've ranted about there not being a secondary market in wrestling figures anymore, which of course there is. I'm exaggerating for comic effect. It's just nowhere near as good as it used to be. You can't get Elites as cheap as you used to when they used to get them in home bargains. Like all the ones from like a year or two ago that turn up in home bargains for £8, they'd be really good. It was great. That's how I got D'Lo Brown, Ken Shamrock, all these guys I just chose not to buy when they came out. It just doesn't happen now. You know, once a figure's not in Smith's anymore, it's not in the UK anymore, apparently. And, you know, people just don't seem to sell boxed figures on bid all that much now. Or maybe I just don't look for them as much. I just do searches for WWE Elite, and it's like, you know, what comes up, comes up. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's now 12 minutes into this video, unedited. And you guys have been sat watching this whole time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the way I am. Right. Okay, we'll get on to the boxed figures now. It's 2 figures. I've bought 3 basics. I've bought more basics today than in the entire time I've been collecting figures again. Now here we go. So this is one that I didn't pick up at the time. I didn't think it really mattered. But she's in NWA now, so I have to. And maybe I should have in the first place, just like I should have bought a Zack Ryder at the time and a Kurt Hawkins at the time. Well, this is Chelsea Green. It was £1 or 2 more for the chase, and to be honest, I prefer this. So I was like, nah. We're in NWA now, so we got to be in my NWA pick fed. NWA is completely different now to when I first had this pick fed idea. And remember forehead nominal? Well, what do we call this? We call it glare, that's what we call it. Look at the size of that ham hock. Look at the size of that forehead. It's actually not that bad on camera, but it's terrible on here. Like, that's to a point where I would literally be tempted to try and cut that off and glue it back down again in the right place. That's terrible. That's like, with the glare, it's hard to see, but look at that. That is a whopping forehead. Are they all like that? Is this just me? This is a big pop shop thinking, oh, that DSW network, he can go fuck himself, he can have a shit one. Let's have a look at this series. Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair, Damian Priest, Chelsea Green. Definitely just this for me, I think. The last thing we've got is actually the thing that sort of brought me to looking at Fig Pop Shop's Black Friday deal. A friend sent me this Dusty Rhodes, which was £12. I was still undecided about getting this when it was £15 in Smith's. I don't particularly care for the head. It's probably a great likeness of Dusty, but I just don't like the face. I mean, I'm not a big fan of open mouth heads regardless, even in like the ridiculous extent. Like it could be the slightest open mouth or the most like the least stupid expression and I'll still hate it. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I wasn't convinced of this for 15, but this was 12 and then 112 whatever shipping, so £13. I took it for that because at the end of the day I need an Elite Dusty because he's another figure who, like Boss Man, I kind of put off buying. I could have bought his other figure with the t-shirt and the heavyweight title and everything for £20 boxed a few months back. Might even have been a year ago now, who knows. I chose not to, and I kind of regretted that. But I did. The point was I needed to get a Dusty Rhodes Elite at some stage. Not anywhere in the near future, given sort of both scheduling and how long it takes me to actually film stuff. But, you know, we needed to get one at some stage, so I just went for it. And worst comes to worst, he can just sit on the shelf. We'll need him at some stage. Alright guys, I'm so sorry for how long this mail opening ended up being. You could tell there was a lot of vinegar inside. I needed to get out. Apparently I needed to just rant about everything today. So thank you guys for sticking with me this long. And if you somehow liked this video anyway, then please do give it a like. And if you have some commentary to make, comment down below. And you know what? If you want to watch more videos like this, subscribe. Give it a little subscribe. Click that bell notification, as they always say. I don't think I've got anything else to say. Oh, yes I do. My catchphrase. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.